Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of the Appropriations Bill for 2025-2026. And Mr. Speaker, it's been a long day. And I must say to you, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues today have said just about everything that can be said about this budget. And there's little more that I really have to say, Mr. Speaker, in defense of the bill, Mr. Speaker. And if you listen to the various contributions, Mr. Speaker, it really showed the depth, the quality, the competence that exists on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker. From yesterday, Mr. Speaker, you heard from the various members their achievements, their reflections on what the Prime Minister presented, Mr. Speaker. And I must say to you that as a member, I'm inspired to be part of this honorable team. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank my family, my supporters in the constituency, my constituency group, the persons who really make it happen for me in the constituency, Mr. Speaker. I want to express my thanks to the PS and staff within the ministry, Mr. Speaker, and of course all the various agencies that fall under the Ministry of Tourism, the chairpersons, the CEOs, the hard-working civil servants, Mr. Speaker, who contribute to the successes and ensuring that the country is where it is now, Mr. Speaker. I have to express my sincere gratitude to all of them, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, St. Lucia is on a journey of progress, prosperity, and opportunity for all. And that journey rests on a singular principle: putting people first. 4 years ago, at about this time, the member for Miku South, in an address, seated and half-shaven, deliberately curated to show that he had been working long hours, removed his glasses, stared at the camera, and made the chilling proclamation that we have no more money in this country, and that this was serious, that the government had exhausted all of its resources, in addition to that of the NIC and donor agencies. In other words, he said that the country is broke. But what he was truly telling us, Mr. Speaker, that he in fact had badly managed the economy and totally messed up the handling of the COVID-19 crisis. Records show that we are among the worst affected economies in the world, Mr. Speaker. In the world. The records also will show that the economy was starting to dip, and colleagues before me have pointed it out. Even before COVID-19, the economy was going downhill. Mr. Speaker, our people were hurting. Our country was in crisis. Our economy was struggling. Unemployment was high, and investor confidence was low. There was evidence of reckless borrowing and mismanagement under the UWP government, and it left us with a crippling debt situation, and the nation was on the brink of economic collapse. His words, Mr. Speaker, I can still remember it. We are broke, Mr. Speaker. The same member, the leader of the opposition, said that's how bad it was, that there is no sense in saving lives when he cannot protect the livelihood of our people. Remember that famous quote? Remember that infamous quote? Thank you. He said so. It is among the most chilling moments of my life listening to him. And 4 years later, rather, just a little less than 4 years later, under the leadership of Philip J. Pierre and the St. Lucia Labour Party, things have turned around. Mr. Speaker, I refer to page 8 of the budget statement that states that the economy grew by 4.7% last year. And this is the 4th year of sustained economic growth. And here it is. It is expected to grow by another 4% for 2025. In fact, I believe, Mr. Speaker, that it will grow more than 4%. Mr. Speaker, the economy did not just grow. The unemployment rate dropped to 10.6% in 2024 and reached single digits in the final quarter of 2024, the lowest level on record. Mr. Speaker, the member from Miko South was writing all day yesterday, all day today, and he was teased by one of our colleagues and asked him whether it was one of his new candidates, Titus Previll, who had prepared his notes for him, and whether Tommy Descartes had prepared his notes for him, and whether Stephen Frivry, his new brigade, Mr. Speaker, had prepared his notes for him. And we were expecting him to come and really launch an attack on the budget, Mr. Speaker. But the reality is that this budget statement was one of magnificence. And there's very little they could have said about it. And the rebuttal from the member for Miku South is one of the most disappointing I've ever heard in this honorable House, Mr. Speaker. You would want to believe, Mr. Speaker, that with all the new advisors that you have, and by the way, every single one of them was promised that they'll be the next leader of UWP, so they should contest elections. Each one of them, and I happen to know all of them, Mr. Speaker, they were promised that they would be the next leader, Mr. Speaker. But what was interesting, Mr. Speaker, and I think my colleague from Library has really taken it on and clarified it to some extent, but I still want to say something on it, Mr. Speaker, because the member from Strozel and the member from Miko South spoke about the unemployment figures, because they believe that they must question the figures and they must debunk the notion that the country is doing well and that unemployment is dropping, Mr. Speaker. And they claim that between 2003 and 2004, the labor force decreased by 4,000 persons. 4,000 persons dropped out, in their words, 2023 and 2024. And that is the reason why unemployment dropped. Now, Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to debate all of that with them. All I want to ask them, Mr. Speaker, is to look at the figures on page 126 of the Social and Economic Review, Mr. Speaker. Between 2016 and 2019, under the United Workers' Party, the labor force declined from 104,625 to 100,976, almost 4,000. Under them, Mr. Speaker, it declined by almost a similar number, and unemployment dropped from 21.3% to 16.8%. So when it happened under you, there were no questions, there were no doubts about it. It was acceptable, and they boasted it was the excellent stewardship that caused it. But in this instance, they're questioning it. But look, Mr. Speaker, from 2021 to 2023, the labor force increased. But the logic is, as the labor force decreases, unemployment must decrease. But that's what they say, and that's the reason why it decreased, is because the labor force decreased. But the labor force between 2021, Mr. Speaker, and 2023 increased from 101,553 to 113,246, a total of 11,700. So it increased by 11,700. And unemployment, Mr. Speaker, dropped from 21.9 to 14%. So I need him to explain it to me. Because if unemployment is dropping because the labor force has declined, what happens when the labor force has increased? Unemployment must increase, of course. No? Isn't that logical? So why has it decreased, Mr. Speaker? Why has it decreased? You see, Mr. Speaker, And a member from Vieux-Fort North once said it. When challenges arise, when there are difficulties, we don't complain. We don't complain, Mr. Speaker. We don't. And when we got the mess that was left behind, we didn't complain, Mr. Speaker. All we did, we rolled up our sleeves and we got to work to put the people and the country first, Mr. Speaker. That's what we do on this side. We don't complain. We don't run away from the challenges. And you just heard the member from Castro Central tell you about what he had to do to be ensured that the anchorage opened up, to move the fishermen, and to do all that has been done to improve the conditions at the market, Mr. Speaker. We don't complain. We get it done, Mr. Speaker. We get it done. So today, Mr. Speaker, almost 4 years since we got into government, St. Lucia is stronger, more resilient, and on the path to lasting prosperity. Mr. Speaker, we still have a long way to go. We still need to work harder to rebuild our country and ensure it is one our people deserve. But with our record of delivery and a plan for more, our government is working to get us there every day, Mr. Speaker. And that is why there is such confidence in this government and in the St. Lucia Labour Party, Mr. Speaker. Under the leadership of Philip Joseph Pierre, Mr. Speaker, and his responsible management of the economy, he has first stabilized the economy, he's restored investor confidence, and he has set us on a path of sustained growth. This year's estimate, totaling just over $2 billion, the largest in our history, is a clear sign that St. Lucia is moving forward and not backwards. Better, despite all the noise, all the twisted lies and misinformation, we are moving forward together, Mr. Speaker, and that is important, Mr. Speaker. So this is not just about numbers. It's about people's lives improving, Mr. Speaker. Every single one of my colleagues indicated to you how this budget is impacting the lives of persons in their constituents, Mr. Speaker. Because our government cares about working families. We care about the middle class and professionals, Mr. Speaker. We care about pensioners, young people, farmers, and small business owners, not just a privileged few. This budget demonstrates that, Mr. Speaker. For 6 years, too many communities were ignored. This government has ensured that it is reversing that neglect, Mr. Speaker. That Belrose doctrine is no more, Mr. Speaker. Every constituency will see some tangible improvements, Mr. Speaker, from new roads and better schools to expanded health care and upgraded community facilities. Every single colleague in here can speak of the improvements, Mr. Speaker. And even in Miku South and in Strozel, they too can speak of improvements, Mr. Speaker. The member from Strozel can tell you of the improvements in Strozel, Mr. Speaker. And compare that, Mr. Speaker, to when we were in opposition. How many of us could have spoken of any improvements in our constituencies, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, no matter where you live, this budget works for you. Whether you are one of the 1,900 workers who will now be made permanent, whether you are a police officer or fire officer, no longer will you be running after criminals at 60 years old or climbing ladders at 60 years old, Mr. Speaker, because you will get a pension, Mr. Speaker, at 55. Whether you are a student nurse, whether you are a parent struggling to pay CSEC subjects, Mr. Speaker, whether you are a young person dreaming of owning your first home, whether you are elderly and hoping to get a place in a home, whether you are a professional looking for a tax break, whether you are a pensioner, whether you are concerned about rising food prices, yes, this is your budget. This is the people's budget, Mr. Speaker. The UWP doesn't want St. Lucia to succeed. I'm convinced of this. They would rather see the country fail done see progress under this government. The United Workers' Party, and you hear them every single night, is prepared to burn all our progress down and see that St. Lucians become impoverished just to get the chance to rule over the ashes, Mr. Speaker. The leader of the opposition doesn't care about our people, and he doesn't need to care, as he's a product of Canada with options to move there whenever he wants. But growth, jobs, and opportunity will mean nothing to him. But for our people, they mean a better future for their families. When they were in government, Mr. Speaker, we have heard over and over, Mr. Speaker, about the debt, the mismanagement, how they insulted the people of St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, it was very clear, and the leader of the opposition said it when he was in government, that he did not believe St. Lucians were capable, and that he referred to us as backing dogs, Mr. Speaker. Jackasses, Mr. Speaker. Mendicants, Mr. Speaker. That's how he described us. That's how he described the possibilities of our nation, Mr. Speaker. And today, 4 years of economic growth, surpluses, Mr. Speaker. It tells you, Mr. Speaker, what leadership is all about. And under Philip Joseph Pierre and the ministers in this government, Mr. Speaker, we've provided leadership to take the country where it is. So what is their goal now, Mr. Speaker? Is to tear down what we are building, to spread misinformation and to block progress, Mr. Speaker. Not because they have a better plan, but because they have no plan, Mr. Speaker. But we refuse to let them drag us back into the days of reckless spending, stalled projects, and economic instability. We refuse to let our country be divided and weakened. And St. Lucians know that by coming together in the national interest, we are stronger, can be richer, and achieve more. I say to the right-thinking UWPs, there is still a chance to be a part of this journey, to put you first, to put our country first. We can move forward together. This budget, the people's budget, is not just about today. It is about securing St. Lucia's future for generations to come. We are building a strong, independent, and self-sufficient nation, not one that relies on loans and handouts, Mr. Speaker. The government's fiscal discipline has ensured we have the space to invest in the future while honoring our financial commitments. That's what the surplus means, Mr. Speaker. And this long-term financial security ensures that our children and grandchildren will inherit prosperity and not debt. So, Mr. Speaker, this budget is not about statements like a coulda, woulda, shoulda. It is a commitment to progress, Mr. Speaker. A commitment to opportunity for each citizen, development for every single community, and prosperity for the entire nation, Mr. Speaker. And each of us in here, Mr. Speaker, we will not rest until every St. Lucian feels the benefits of progress, Mr. Speaker. We will continue investing in jobs, business growth, and social programs that uplift our people. We will ensure that no one is left behind, and we will not rest until we achieve that. This is not about the wicked not resting, Mr. Speaker. This is about hard work, Mr. Speaker, which is why we're not resting. This budget says that the St. Lucia Labour Party is delivering for the people, building a stronger future, and ensuring that St. Lucia never goes backwards again. So the leader of the opposition, Mr. Speaker, on one of his programs says that this is a manifesto disguised as a budget presentation. The member from Strozel says it is an AI budget. Well, Mr. Speaker, wait till they hear next year's budget. Because if this one is a manifesto and this one is AI, they will hear next year, Mr. Speaker. But simply spoken, Mr. Speaker, this budget is the future of St. Lucia. It says lots done, lots to do. A government with a record of delivery and a plan for more. Our nation united in securing a better tomorrow. And I say again to all St. Lucians, let us move forward together. Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition says that tourism performance was dismal. Mr. Speaker, in 2021, upon assuming office, our government was very clear that it wanted to restructure the tourism industry. And Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister was a former Minister of Tourism under Dr. Kenny Anthony, the member for Beaufort South. And there is so much of what we're doing now that is rooted in an understanding of the tourism industry created as far back as 1997, Mr. Speaker. And the member from Beaufort South spoke about the lineage, you know, the unfolding of so many projects and ideas that are consistent with the principles of George Charles' party, Mr. Speaker. And he's right. He's right. We continue a very proud tradition, Mr. Speaker, a very proud one. And so much of what we do now started as far back as then. And I teased him earlier that I could have reminded him of some of the things that he spoke about and where they originated, because he delivered budget addresses. The Prime Minister, as Minister of Tourism, I keep saying to so many persons, started defining the contours of what, you know, community tourism is now, Mr. Speaker. I heard the leader of the opposition speak about the anchorage and whatnot. The ORTCP started under Dr. Kenny Anthony, Mr. Speaker. I don't know if he remembers that, Mr. Speaker. That's where it started, Mr. Speaker. It didn't start with no United Workers' Party under Alan Shastney, Mr. Speaker. You see, we always wanted to restructure this tourism industry because our government's philosophy is clear that St. Lucians must own and operate as much as possible the tourism sector. And this is not just a theory. It is the foundation we are building together to ensure long-term growth and empowerment for our people. Our extraordinary beauty and our greatest asset, our people, are what drives success in our tourism. Therefore, our government is firm in our philosophical conviction that the benefits of tourism must largely accrue to our people. They must be put first, Mr. Speaker. So in July 2021, we first assessed what was being done in the tourism industry, what was good, what was bad, and what was needed to make it better to achieve our philosophical conviction. Mr. Speaker, I am proud, honored, and privileged, yet with a sense of humility, that going into my 4th year as a Minister of Responsibility for the portfolio of tourism, that the tourism industry in St. Lucia has recently posted its best year ever, Mr. Speaker, by measurement of visitor flows and the estimates of on-island visitor expenditure. So let's take a look, Mr. Speaker, at 2024, a year that the opposition says was a dismal year, a terrible year, that we are on the precipice of collapse in the tourism industry, Mr. Speaker. The data will show that it was a year of remarkable growth and performance, Mr. Speaker. In fact, in 2024, St. Lucia reached a historic milestone with approximately 435,000 stayover arrivals, surpassing the previous record of 423,000 set in 2019 under the United Workers' Party. But let me remind you, under the previous Labour Party government, where Lon Theophilus was Minister of Tourism, you would recall that Club St. Lucia closed down, which was then the largest hotel in St. Lucia, and Royalton was being built. Remember that. By 2016, Royalton opens shortly after. United Workers' Party gets into government. They now have the largest hotel in St. Lucia open. They now have a club open. And then in 2019, they have the highest number of arrivals until last year, with a lot more rooms and the most rooms in the history of St. Lucia. But I'll come to this shortly again. Stayover arrivals increased by 14% over 2023. The months of January, March, June, and October saw the highest growth compared to pre-pandemic records. 7% growth in January and March, and 14% growth in June and October. Let me put these records in context. All of this was achieved with at least 500 less rooms than what we had in 2019, Mr. Speaker. Just put that into context. In 2019, when it was achieved, they had just had the opening of Royalton and Harbour Club, and had the most rooms in the history of St. Lucia. And by 2024, when we broke the record, we had 500 less rooms than in 2019. But yet, we are in crisis. Yet, we are in crisis. For last year, Mystic was closed, Starfish was closed, and St. James Club was closed. And we still had the most stayover arrivals in history. And yet we are in crisis, Mr. Speaker. Cruise passenger arrivals increased substantially 2024 compared to 2023 by an additional 108,000 arrivals, Mr. Speaker, to total 509,000 passengers. This was fueled by an additional 70 cruise vessel calls in 2024, totaling 334 for the year. Arrivals by yachts as a third category of visitors by way of entry continue to climb steadily, having advanced by 7% to total 49,953 visitors for 2024. I am sure you will agree that this is not an industry in decline and on the precipice of collapse. Mr. Speaker, it gets more interesting. On-island visitor expenditure, which is a measurement that I'm keenly interested in because it is a measure of the value of business accrued to St. Lucia, is estimated at approximately $3.6 billion for 2024. The analysis of the data revealed that for 2024, online visitor expenditure increased by 19% over that of 2023, 19%. Mr. Speaker, these achievements were not made in a vacuum. And it's important to place our progress into context so that one may gain a full appreciation for the efforts which were made in 2024. Firstly, the state agency responsible for marketing St. Lucia overseas, the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, worked in close collaboration with other key trade partners, both locally and internationally, to increase the island's visibility and general appeal in the global marketplace. The synergized efforts of the hotels and the Tourism Association membership, international travel agents and tour operators, airline partners, and major event organizers all played key roles in creating a strong demand for St. Lucia amongst the community of persons desirous of having a Caribbean vacation. And I want to say a very special thank you to all the partners that have been working with us, Mr. Speaker. And these partners will tell you, Mr. Speaker, they can compare what it is now to what it was before, Mr. Speaker. There was nothing about my hotel and my way, Mr. Speaker. Instead, this is St. Lucia's way, and this is St. Lucia's interest, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, St. Lucia is currently trending internationally. There's no two ways about it, Mr. Speaker. The evidence of this, Mr. Speaker, is from multiple dimensions. Under my stewardship, and of course the stewardship of the Labour Party, we have strategically negotiated for increased airlift from our major source markets and implemented appropriate marketing strategies to yield the arrival numbers we are now benefiting from. Mr. Speaker, we have developed attractive events of world-class appeal with the return of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, and I'll return to it in a while, and our signature annual carnival. In addition, Mr. Speaker, on account of our focused marketing efforts, the service delivery of our workers within the industry, and the product and experiences that we offer to visitors, St. Lucia has attained numerous awards, Mr. Speaker. Too many for me to list all of them right now. It would be remiss of me, Mr. Speaker, if I did not mention among these awards the tremendous visibility that St. Lucia gained as a result of Honorable Julian Alfred winning gold and silver medals at the Paris Olympics in 2024, and the work that she has been doing as a tourism ambassador. With all of those awards, Mr. Speaker, and the best performance record, Mr. Speaker, I have to again remind you that this was achieved with at least 500 less rooms than we had in 2023. Mr. Speaker, truth be told, there are challenges. We are witnessing changes in the structure of our accommodation sector, which has implications for our overall performance and has caused us to adjust our strategies. There is a growing trend of visitors choosing accommodations outside the traditional hotels, in-home accommodation, and an increased demand for luxury options, both villas and high-end hotels. Mr. Speaker, as it relates to the home accommodation demands, this presents a great opportunity for entrepreneurship, and I'm happy that our nationals have embraced this opportunity, which our government have been calling for and supporting through our policies. We want to encourage more of this, more St. Lucians to own villas and home accommodation options, Mr. Speaker. And we have started to see visitors in places around the island where we are not accustomed to seeing them. Deep within communities, Mr. Speaker, in Bizet, in Masqué, in Labrie, Goodlands, Marcia, and even Strozel, Mr. Speaker. An analysis of that sector revealed that we have approximately 2,000 establishments, offering accommodation to visitors in St. Lucia, 2,000. This market segment, and listen to this, added 175 new places in 2022, 230 in 2023, and 300 in 2024. So you can see the steady increase to St. Lucians responding to the call to invest in the tourism industry, start owning it, and they're doing it largely through the home accommodation sector, Mr. Speaker. Now, when you translate that into the value of business, it means that residents are scooping up approximately $79.8 million annually. $79.5 million annually through home accommodation options in St. Lucia. This is no small amount, and we expect it to grow. Mr. Speaker, on the other hand, while we embrace the demand for high-end options, like I mentioned earlier, and we are witnessing investment in the area, we need to manage that growth, Mr. Speaker. It demands that we work with our traditional trade partners to facilitate high occupancy levels at our traditional accommodations, Mr. Speaker, to foster a more balanced industry. Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition always pretends to be brilliant, Mr. Speaker, to be an economist of great, repute, Mr. Speaker. And I'll tell you something, Mr. Speaker, I don't pretend to be an economist. I have my elder brother is an economist, my younger brother is an economist, my sister is an economist, but I tell them I'm the best economist among all of them. My brothers might not like to hear me say that, but Mr. Speaker, I don't pretend to be an economist. I studied some economics, but the leader of the opposition pretends that he's this great economist and this great knowledge and competence, and everybody else is stupid and we don't know what we're doing, Mr. Speaker. And he quotes figures and he just throws out numbers and figures and numbers and figures that just don't even add up, Mr. Speaker. So listen to what he says, and I want you to follow me on this one. He says, Mr. Speaker, that stayover arrivals only grew 2.5% over 5 years, and that's not good enough. Now, I just told you, 2024 was the record year for stayover arrivals, and we achieved it with 500 less rooms. And 2019 was achieved with the most rooms in the history of St. Lucia. So, and he looks at the figures from 2019 and he compares them with 2024. And nothing in between, huh? And he says it's 2.5% growth, and this is dismal, and this is a sign of an industry collapsing. And he's a guru economist. Let me tell you, if I were an economist and he claimed to be one, I would change my profession, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he also says that the flights coming in are empty. Yet he's also saying that there's not enough airlift to St. Lucia. Then the hotels are empty and not doing well. Yet Coco Palm, his hotel, he claims, is expanding facilities. So, and more hotels are coming on stream. So explain to me, how is it that you're saying the hotels are not doing well, the economy is, the tourism industry is about to collapse, but you expanded? But you did, well, you added a piece and you didn't even have DCA approval to the piece that you added, Mr. Speaker. And let me not even go down in this, you know, a new restaurant and a new piece you added. You didn't even have DCA approval, Mr. Speaker. But then, anyway, Mr. Speaker, let me stay focused. But Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter if it's 600 square feet. Let's look at page 109. Can I get a glass of water? He asked whether I give him his incentives. Mr. Speaker, and the leader of the opposition, today is not the day for this, because for you to get incentives, you must have DCA approval. That's part of what the legislation says. So you're applying for incentives only for us to find out that you never had DCA approval for the works that you were doing, and then we didn't give you the incentives, or it was not processed as you wanted it, but you completed it without DCA approval, Mr. Speaker. But let's look at page 109 of, page 109 of the Social and Economic Review. When we came to office in 2021, stayover arrivals was 199,345. Now it is 435,659. An increase of 118.5%. How am I lying? Look at the page. But you didn't look at 21 when you were quoting from 2019 to 2024. You didn't look at it. We came into government in 2021. I can only account for the performance of the industry from 2021. That's what I can account for. But here it gets more interesting. Tourist expenditure moved from 2.6 billion in 2019 to 3.6 billion in 2024. If I believe that, it's in the Social and Economic Review. And these were the figures you were quoting when you were Prime Minister. But all of a sudden, I should not believe it. Mr. Speaker, let me continue. Hotel occupancy, according to the same Social and Economic Review, in 2024 was the highest ever in the history of St. Lucia. It's there. It's there, Mr. Speaker. But you're doubting the figures now, Mr. Speaker. You know, I'll move on, Mr. Speaker. The same leader of the opposition, Mr. Speaker. He says he's disappointed in me. I am no tourism guru. You know, I'm only learning on the job. But I'm showing you I'm learning faster. I'm learning faster. But you, for somebody who've had over 40 years experience, is 40 years of experience of doing the wrong things all the time. Not doing the wrong things. You're very experienced, but you're experienced in doing the wrong things. I'm a newbie to it. I'm learning. Yes, and I'm righting your wrong. I'm righting your wrong. So he says, and hear this one, that I have destroyed community tourism, and that it was village tourism, and now I've called it community tourism. Let's look at the facts. When we came into office in 2021, there was no legislation enacted, none. There was no agency or institution established. Yet over $5 million had been spent or given out in contracts under his village tourism. Huh? There's no legislation to guide it. There's no institution to manage it, but he's already spent $5 million. Can you imagine that? You know, but I will tell you though, there's been quite a lot of preparatory work that was done. I must say that. I'm a fair person. When I got into the ministry, there was a lot of preparatory work that was done, and you have to accept that. But in reviewing it, I sat down, I reviewed it, I spoke to the Prime Minister about it. In our view, there was a fundamental misconception in the approach that he wanted to have. The concept he had was to create franchises that St. Lucians would buy, and instead we favored creating partnerships with people and communities. It would be village rather than community. And for us, after we discussed it, and we discussed it in cabinet when we looked at the legislation, it lacked what we call St. Lucian-ness. It lacked that. And we felt we wanted something, if it was community tourism, it had to be St. Lucian. It had to be authentic, it had to be immersive. So we just had to tweak it and make it more relevant to pick up the phone and call you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we were very clear after we discussed it as colleagues at Cabinet that the Community Tourism Agency had to play that critical role in ensuring that the ownership and the benefits of the tourism industry accrues to our people, to St. Lucians, Mr. Speaker. So we had to make that tweak, Mr. Speaker. The Community Tourism Agency has now become the vehicle for pursuing that goal, Mr. Speaker, for more St. Lucians to own and for them to participate in the tourism industry. So, Mr. Speaker, you will see that the Community Tourism Agency will continue to invest in local entrepreneurs so that they can become partners in the industry. And the CTA will support small and medium-sized enterprises that will offer tours, attractions, and cultural experiences. Additionally, the agency will drive community initiatives, collaborating with the Ministry of Tourism and other local organizations to develop signature projects and ensure that these projects provide an authentic and immersive local experience. So here are our success stories. In 2024 to 2025, the CTA granted a total of 17 loans in fulfillment of that mandate. And if you want, I can give the list of all the projects that were approved. Some of them have already been activated and some are in the final stages. As we move forward, the CTA will be working on 40 partner projects for 2025-2026. 40. From Grosile to Library to Forestier to Pralle to Ancillary to Kako in Vieux-Fort North. Mr. Speaker, just about every community in St. Lucia will be covered. And Mr. Speaker, some of the projects that are identified for 25-26 through the Ministry of Tourism are as follows, Mr. Speaker. And I want to mention some of them, Mr. Speaker. I'm not sure if they have the visual to show you it, Mr. Speaker. And we have some very exciting projects, Mr. Speaker. The first one, the CMOS experience in Pralle, in Miku, Mr. Speaker. You could see on the screen, Mr. Speaker, some of the visuals. The CMOS experience, where visitors can kayak out.
Remember, you have 15 minutes left.
15?
Yeah.
Oh, you took some of my time, Mr. Speaker. Okay, when you go down to 5, you'll take. So let me just go quickly through it, Mr. Speaker. The CMOS experience, the revamp of the January Fiesta, the upgrading of the church in Canaries, Mr. Speaker, to become a place of art and culture and community, Mr. Speaker. The Earth Tour, an artisan tour in Strozel, as Fed Lookout, Mr. Speaker. The Mon Lay-by, which will now be called the View at the Mon, which will be open on April 29th, Mr. Speaker, and I invite all my colleagues to be there on Tuesday, Mr. Speaker. The Catholic Museum, it showed on the screen a short while ago, Mr. Speaker, we'll be working with the Catholic Church for some religious tourism project, the First Martyrs Shrine, Mr. Speaker. The upgrade of the Soufre World Heritage Lookout, Mr. Speaker. The Underwater Sculpture Park, Mr. Speaker. The first one will be in Ancillary, the second in Ancillary, and the final one will be in Cicero, Mr. Speaker. Buckeye Sports Recreational Park, and the leader of the opposition will remember that park. I was invited then to come when it was handed over, and the government of the day did nothing about it, Mr. Speaker. We're going to revive it and upgrade it, Mr. Speaker. And of course, the last one I want to mention quickly, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, this is the lookout of the Buckeye Beach Park and what it will look like. The Masha Artisan Village, Mr. Speaker. The Masha Artisan, and I want you to look out for this one, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, the old abandoned Masha market will be transformed into an artisan village, Mr. Speaker. The leader of Philip JP, I'm trying to encourage him, let's get started immediately, Mr. Speaker. Let's get started immediately. And I want to present it to him next week so he can consult his people and we can get started on it, because this is going to be a fantastic experience, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, let's move on because my time is limited, Mr. Speaker. On page 30, Mr. Speaker, of the budget statement, we speak of the necessity and of developing recreational beach spaces for citizens and visitors, Mr. Speaker. I think the days when our citizens visit major public beaches, but there are no facilities, Mr. Speaker, those days must be over. When you go to the beach with your family, there are no restrooms, Mr. Speaker. There are no vending facilities. We need to upgrade, not for visitors, but for citizens as well, Mr. Speaker. And I feel very strongly about that, Mr. Speaker. So you will notice we're going to start upgrading the facilities at the beaches around St. Lucia. We'll start with Ridgeway Park, Mr. Speaker, on the rump. And then, Mr. Speaker, at Montpimad, we will also be having a beach park there, Mr. Speaker, at VG, where the old beach facilities used to be. There's going to be an upgrade of that facility. We're hoping, Mr. Speaker, we can also go around the island, whether it's in Viewfort, Sandy Beach, and other areas, to upgrade the beaches, put in the facilities, Mr. Speaker. Also create economic activity for our people where they can sell and they can, Mr. Speaker, earn some kind of livelihood, Mr. Speaker. So I'm hoping by the end of the year, at least we'll complete 3 of them, the one at Ridgeway, Montpimad, and at VG, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are witnessing significant growth in the demand for St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. And because of the product that we are developing, building on the successes of the past, Mr. Speaker, you have to recognize a lot of hard work has been done over the years to develop the product in St. Lucia by hoteliers, by the private sector, Mr. Speaker, that we really have to make sure that we, at the end of the day, build an industry that is inclusive, resilient, and sustainable, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll move quickly, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister mentioned the national tourism policy, and we will be, ensuring that we update our tourism policy, and I'm sure the leader of the opposition will want to have his say on that, Mr. Speaker. The tourism transportation, upgrade that we're doing, converting all the H plates to TXs, Mr. Speaker. It has challenges, but we're managing it. We've rolled up our sleeves, Mr. Speaker. We're trying to solve the problems. We're under a lot of pressure, but we're trying our best to make it work, Mr. Speaker. The certification process in the ministry is really critical. When we tell the world we are world-class, we better be world-class. And for us to be world-class, we have to set the standards, and we have to help everybody to uplift their standards, to reach those standards that we've established. And our certification unit is really working hard, with all the service providers to raise the standards, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that what we boast and that we will deliver, in fact, we do deliver it, Mr. Speaker. I have to end on the tourism section by speaking about the Jimmy's, Mr. Speaker. The Jimmy's is very close to my heart. It is about recognizing the achievements of our hospitalitarians, people who work in the industry, recognizing them, celebrating them, Mr. Speaker, both the hotels, the different service providers, and the workers, Mr. Speaker. So between the SLTA, the SLHTA, and the ministry, we held the GMEs recently, Mr. Speaker, and, you know, we really had a wonderful time celebrating all the workers, Mr. Speaker. As we all know, our people are our most valuable assets. Our people are our best products. So I wish to say thank you to all the workers within the tourism industry. Without you, we cannot have a thriving tourism industry. We cannot. From the hotel staff, to the chefs, to the taxi operators, to the front desk agents, to the tour operators, it is our people that make St. Lucia unforgettable, Mr. Speaker. And this is what the GMEs is about, celebrating them. Mr. Speaker, I move on. Yeah. So.
How much more time you need?
We have
half an hour?
Member Castries, Southeast.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise to invoke, suspend 32.8 and to invoke 32.10 to grant, to allow the member an additional 30 minutes to complete his presentation.
30?
Yeah.
Honourable members, the question is that Standing Order 32.8 be suspended and Standing Order 32.10 be invoked to allow the Leader of Government Business an additional 30 minutes in which to complete his presentation. And now put the question, as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, let me move quickly to investment, Mr. Speaker. St. Lucia is open for business, and we are seeing, Mr. Speaker, unprecedented levels of interest in investing in St. Lucia. Investor confidence is up, and foreign direct investment is flowing in St. Lucia like never before. Not since 2006 are we seeing so much foreign investment in St. Lucia. And the leader of the opposition had boasted he would be bringing billions of dollars of investment in St. Lucia. All he brought was one racetrack, Mr. Speaker. You know, and all he ended up doing was putting horses before the hospital and before the people of St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. But we are seeing real investments in this country, Mr. Speaker. And despite all what the member from Microsoft is trying to do to stop us, Mr. Speaker, and his efforts to damage his own country, am I right in even saying that? And his efforts to damage this country, Mr. Speaker, on the world stage, we are succeeding in showing the global community and international investors that St. Lucia is a country on the rise. So, Mr. Speaker, to complement our pro-people approach, we've also adopted a pro-business approach, Mr. Speaker, that has attracted millions in investment across tourism, infrastructure, and other key industries. Upon assuming office in July 2021, as a government, we took a strategic look at a number of contentious projects which we had criticized when we were in opposition. We made it very clear to the respective developers what our concerns were and requested that we work to resolve them. We would never take the approach taken by the opposition now, Mr. Speaker. Our principles were made very clear to them. We respect that government is continuous, regardless of which party occupies the seat of power. That we must create an enabling environment for investors to make a fair and reasonable return on their investment. And that the people of St. Lucia and the state must get its own fair and reasonable benefit and returns, Mr. Speaker. And we laid it out. We did not behave in a reckless and irresponsible manner, as is now being done by the opposition, to threaten investors that their projects will be stopped. On page 31, the Minister of Finance quotes the former representative for Soufrière Fossé-Jacques, openly declaring that the United Workers' Party, if ever elected, will stop the GPH project. And the leader of the opposition in this House on Tuesday banged the table in full approval of that statement, Mr. Speaker. So instead of this ineptitude, Mr. Speaker, the budget statement lays the foundation for future success by prioritizing strategic investments to create jobs and grow the economy. But the United Workers' Party will not learn. They will not change. But we'll never forget under the UWP, investors lost confidence in St. Lucia due to their reckless policies and their poor governance. They cannot boast of one major investment during their 6 years in government. Not one. Not one, Mr. Speaker. But our government has restored credibility and is bringing tangible results, Mr. Speaker. The Tourism Development Act has created a highly facilitatory workshop for investment, especially local investment. On page 14, reference is made to the investments which are ongoing within the tourism sector. Like the Minister of Finance, I am pleased with these investments. It is interesting to note, Mr. Speaker, and I want you to hear that, Mr. Speaker, that between Isla Resorts, the Ridgeway Beach Development, and the Rodney Bay City Center, over 3,000 new hotel rooms will be added to our accommodation stock. Just in that area. Montpimad, Ridgeway Beach, Rodney Bay City Center, 3,000 new hotel rooms will be added to our accommodation stock when completed. This means more jobs and economic opportunity for our people. Mr. Speaker, in 2024, the Ministry of Tourism alone approved 40 projects valued at 3.8 billion EC dollars. Can you say the same was ever done in any single year that you were Prime Minister? The employment implications of these investments are equally significant, with projections, hear this, of 4,257 jobs during construction, 4,200 plus during construction, and over 2,000 jobs during the operational phase. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. So if you believe our tourism numbers will not continue to go down, you will see. You see, Mr. Speaker, it really shows us how important tourism sector is for driving economic development and job growth in this country. Mr. Speaker, you know, you would have heard in the past references have been made about the hotel development in Shabusha, in Roselle, and Black Bay, Mr. Speaker. They've had to face a lot of issues in terms of planning and design issues. And only this morning, the Prime Minister met with the developers for the Grand Hyatt, the Shabusha Hotel, Mr. Speaker. And very soon, we will see some activity. They believe they have overcome most of the challenges, and there'll be some progress there. And also very soon, Mr. Speaker, the international hotel chain will make an announcement as it relates to the Black Bay Hotel, Mr. Speaker. So, you know, if all goes well, Mr. Speaker, by the ending of the year, we will see those two properties finally getting off the ground, Mr. Speaker. That will make a create a major impact in the southern part of the island. Mr. Speaker, on page 31, the Minister of Finance announced the commencement of works including GPH and KM2 and at Otabor in Ancillary, Mr. Speaker. GPH will significantly improve our cruise services in Port Castries and Soufrière, with improvements to the Vendors Arcade, the Soufrière Waterfront and Point Seraphine. Additionally, the construction of the Fisherman's Village in Banan and the Castries Boardwalk will add new experiences. And of course, the member from Castries Central announced that, you know, agreement has been reached to improve the Jeremy Street Plaza, Mr. Speaker. How much money? Okay, Mr. Speaker, I want to share something with you, Mr. Speaker. I want to share something with you because, Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition and his surrogates have said so much about GPH, Mr. Speaker, and he accuses everybody and accused. But, you know, Mr. Speaker, we stay focused. We don't really, you know, Mr. Speaker, take him on. The same leader of the opposition, on 2 occasions, together with Royal Caribbean, announced, Mr. Speaker, long-term concession agreements for Port Castries. And I can make it documents of the House, Mr. Speaker. And these are not, Mr. Speaker, me just saying anything. These are official press releases from the government of St. Lucia when he, Mr. Speaker, in 2008 with Royal Caribbean, Mr. Speaker, and hey, Mr. Speaker, you talk about woulda, coulda, shoulda. During this financial year, now he was not elected member. He was a senator and Minister of Tourism, 2008. So it was read by the Prime Minister then, Stephenson King. During this financial year, Madam Speaker, government in collaboration with Royal Caribbean Cruise Limited will commence the development and expansion of the waterfront area of Castries to make the city a major cruise port and duty-free shopping center that will cater to cruise tourists, hotel visitors, and the local alike. Now, I was told he wrote that for the Prime Minister, Stephenson King, to read. Of course, we all know that Stephenson King gave up on him entirely and chose the right path by coming and joining Labour, Mr. Speaker. But here it is. The Labour government. Well, let's stay focused, stay focused. So, October 2019, and this one, the leader of the opposition in Puerto Rico signs an MOU. As part of the MOU, Carnival Corporation and Royal Caribbean and the government of Central will establish long-term concession agreements to formalize the terms and responsibilities for the joint venture to manage and operate the current cruise pier and terminal facilities at Port Castries. And he even goes on to say that they will design, finance, and construct and own and operate a new cruise port in Vieux-Fort, Mr. Speaker. Now, this is the same individual who's criticizing a long-term concession agreement with GPH. But it gets even more interesting. When we came into government, and a member from Castries will tell you, we found on the table a GPH agreement. We reviewed it. We said it was not good enough. We wanted better. And Mr. Speaker, he criticizes it. You know, he criticizes it. So twice with Royal Caribbean, he tried to do exact same thing. Yeah, he was vexed, remember that? And then he tried to do GPH, it did not work. But there's a little more, and he's been spreading this talk about home porting and Vieux-Fort. Let me tell you all the real story about Vieux-Fort. And I hope I get my time back, Honorable Member, because there's a little segue, but you have to hear this. So he signed an MOU, which includes developing in Vieux-Fort for home porting and whatnot. But when the time comes to move forward, he says to them, do not develop Vieux-Fort. Join with Theo Akin and develop a cruise port by Kokodan and build 23 islands. No, they told me that, you know. They told me that. So when we came in, we said to them, no. All of them were convinced this is the maddest proposal they had ever heard. The maddest proposal they had ever heard. And we said to them, can you resume and look at it? So they completed the designs for Vieux-Fort. We have the completed designs. They'll build the new piers because of the size of the ships. It will not work as is now. And let me tell you how bizarre it is. They told him it could not work by El Pirata Kokodan because of wave action. And he told them that Joaquin can change the wave action and all. You know, I don't want to say those things, but you know, when you push people, we have to expose the stupidity of some of the things that you've done. So, Mr. Speaker, so then they did it. They actually got pilots from St. Lucia that went up to the simulation with Carnival, exactly how it will work out, whatnot. But when it came to the financing, they said to us, basically they had huge debts come out of COVID, and therefore they had to repay those debts, so they would not be able to finance the upgrade of Vieux-Fort. And that's what put the stall on our efforts. When we signed with GPH asked us for one thing. Not that Vieux-Fort is off the limit, but any proposal we get from the cruise lines, give them a chance to match and better it. So we're already starting to work on the development of cruise, you know, in Vieux-Fort and how it's going to work out, Mr. Speaker. A coulda, woulda, shoulda. Since 2008, you've been trying to get this done and it cannot be done, Mr. Speaker. Well, thank you for the applause, you know, Mr. Speaker. Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, let me go forward because I want to deal with another issue, Mr. Speaker, that he spoke about. You would have heard the member from Mikus South speak about, you know, we are putting up a brand St. Lucia building. A brand St. Lucia building. I don't want to go now into the whole concept of brand St. Lucia. How many years ago under the Labour Party government, under the leadership of Dr. Anthony, we spoke about creating the brand St. Lucia and building, you know, that brand St. Lucia internationally. But he says instead we should go to Orange Grove because there's 88,000 square feet and we should use it. I don't know if he did not listen to the member from Castries East, because the member from Castries East clearly stated that we have in agreement with KM2 agreed for them to rent the space, at least half of the space in the first instance, creating 500 new jobs immediately, and paying the rent for us. Why would you want us to reject taking 500 jobs and the investor paying the rent and move brand St. Lucia building, brand St. Lucia staff, the agencies, up to Orange Grove? Why would you do this? Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, he says, why not? So, we believe we can use that space, create jobs, and certainly we hope to create over 1,000 jobs there, and the investor paying the rent for the government of St. Lucia, so we don't have to pay it, and that's about $160,000 a month that the investor is going to pay, Mr. Speaker. Meanwhile, we'll put up, Mr. Speaker, the brand St. Lucia building. I am excited, Mr. Speaker, about the Otago BPO that we're working on, Mr. Speaker. I believe this will have a dramatic impact on the community of Ancillary and the surrounding communities, Mr. Speaker. You know, and Invest St. Lucia is hoping that it can create more community BPOs around the island, Mr. Speaker, because the big concentration is in Vieux-Fort and in Grosley, Massad. But we believe if we can get, Soufrière has a small one, and you were there at the opening together with you know, some of us, Mr. Speaker. If we can create some of them around the island, creating 250 jobs, 300 jobs in the villages and towns, that can be a game changer for those communities, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm trying to move a little quickly, Mr. Speaker. I still have 21. The minister spoke, Prime Minister spoke about the Rockall development will continue. I am excited about it continuing, Mr. Speaker, and we must get it done, Mr. Speaker. We will get it done, Mr. Speaker. And it will complement, Mr. Speaker, it will complement the Belvedere housing development in Canaries, Mr. Speaker. And I can already close my eyes and visualize this development in Belvedere, Canaries, what it will do for Canaries, Mr. Speaker, and the neighboring communities, Mr. Speaker. So this is a big deal for us. Mr. Speaker, very soon an announcement will be made about the construction of a resort, Mr. Speaker, at VG on the old site of the Red Lion Hotel, 150 keys and 50 luxury residences. Mr. Speaker, I am not the international chain has asked that they will make the official announcement, so we will let that happen in its time, but I just want to signal that we are working on it. Drawings are going to DCA very shortly, Mr. Speaker, for approval. I'm really excited, Mr. Speaker, about a boatyard. Slasper Invest in Lucia, and an investor is going to develop a boatyard right near to the Marine Police base, Mr. Speaker. It will also include a new ferry terminal. So the ferry terminal and what happens presently there, it will be moved across, Mr. Speaker, well-designed, well-structured, Mr. Speaker, and solve a lot of the congestion and the uncomfortable situation we have, Mr. Speaker. So at Gantas Bay, we will see this boatyard. And the final project I want to speak of, Mr. Speaker, is one which really excites me, Mr. Speaker, and will be transformational for St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. One of the largest estates in St. Lucia will be transformed into a kind of agro-tourism project, Mr. Speaker. And it is going to be fantastic, Mr. Speaker, transformational. And I speak, Mr. Speaker, of about integrative health and botanical innovation taking place, research institute, Mr. Speaker, the production of goods for export, Mr. Speaker, and is really going to transform that community. It will be a sanctuary, Mr. Speaker, created. Research institute, like I said, for integrated integrative herbal sciences, sustainable agriculture, eco-lodges, a wellness retreat, Mr. Speaker, and what they call a botanical gastronomy experience, Mr. Speaker. You know, I'm really excited by it and looking forward to it. I want to say something quickly, Mr. Speaker, about the Jazz Festival, Mr. Speaker, because and Mr. Speaker, I would really love to give you a lecture, Mr. Speaker, a lecture to the Leader of the Opposition, because he asked, you know, he wants to know about the Jazz Festival, and he wants to know, you know, what role is it playing in and promoting tourism in St. Lucia, and how much is being spent, Mr. Speaker. It is taxpayers' money, he has a right to know. He never told us how much solar costed. He never told us how much boxing in paradise cost, Mr. Speaker. But now he wants to demand that we give details. All I'm going to say to him, go to the estimates, read it, do the hard work, and you will see the allocations that are in the estimates, Mr. Speaker. That's the most I will say to you. But, Mr. Speaker, you know, there's so much about the Arts and Jazz Festival, Mr. Speaker, and what we're doing for culture and creative industries in this country. Never before have you seen the support that has been given to creative industries and culture in this country, Mr. Speaker? Never before. You know, when we are exciting young people, you know, to get involved in the creative industries, to get involved in the cultural industry, Mr. Speaker. And it is really transformational. Mr. Speaker, just imagine, since we've returned the Jazz and Arts Festival, just imagine the impact that it has had on this country, that the communities are taking ownership, Mr. Speaker, of the Jazz Festival, Mr. Speaker. You know, in the Jazz and Arts Festival, we're marrying culture and creative industries with tourism, Mr. Speaker. Think of all the small businesses that benefit, all the small industries that benefit, Mr. Speaker, from the Jazz Festival. And we start off this weekend for the first time in Miku North, Mr. Speaker. Jazz and Veg, how you got it? Imagine, Mr. Speaker, the calendar has become so clogged, Mr. Speaker. They actually have to have the event before the official opening, Mr. Speaker. Before the official opening. And I can tell you, and I want the Leader of the Opposition to go to Miku and see for himself the transformation that is doing in Miku South, in Miku North, Mr. Speaker. Go and see it. See, and then go to Bexar for Inspiration Jazz. You need some inspiration, Mr. Speaker. You know, go and see what it is doing for communities, for creatives. No, Moshi's already, no, we don't want him in Moshi. You know, stay out of Moshi, Mr. Speaker. You know,
Remember, you have 15 minutes left.
15, okay, Mr. Speaker. You know, Mr. Speaker, see what it is doing for the communities. And hear the vision. We want, Mr. Speaker, we want the communities to use it as a stage for local creatives to get an opportunity to showcase their talent, to nurture their talent, and aspire to make it to main stage, Mr. Speaker. We have more locals on main stage than ever before, Mr. Speaker. Ever before, Mr. Speaker. You know, and for us, Mr. Speaker, all the communities are getting into it. And we already have a vision as to how it will develop. We will now want the communities to also introduce the arts component, not just a music festival, but from next year, Mr. Speaker, start having an arts component. So we also develop spoken words and visual arts and performing arts and add that, Mr. Speaker. And for St. Lucia to become a hub of creativity, Mr. Speaker. You know, for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, Mr. Speaker, the whole country just erupts, Mr. Speaker, into creativity, and what that will do for our various communities, Mr. Speaker. So I invite you, all St. Lucians, to go to Miku, to go to Bexar, go to Ancillary, go to Viewfort, Mr. Speaker, and go to all the community events and to support it. And then I heard the member from Strozel speak of Strozel, or of coming to Strozel Jazz. And I wanted to say to him, and I will say it now, just imagine if St. Lucians make that decision, just if they do, and put back the Leader of the Opposition in government, and for him to cancel jazz again, Mr. Speaker. Just think about that. Just think about that. He's pledged that he will cancel jazz because he doesn't support it. He said jazz is finished, Mr. Speaker. I don't know if you all recall this, Mr. Speaker. Openly saying that jazz is dead, and he introduced Soleil, Mr. Speaker. And imagine he getting an opportunity again, Mr. Speaker, to do so. You know, I don't know about you all, but I can tell you it will be a very sad day very sad day for St. Lucia, for us to go back to those days, Mr. Speaker. Carnival. And I heard one time the leader of the opposition boasting that he made Carnival what it is in St. Lucia. I've never heard such absurdity. Never, ever. But what I can tell him, that in 2023, the first 2 weeks of July, in 2023, there were 22,612 arrivals. In 2024, it increased to 26,429 within 1 year, 17% increase. And since post-COVID, the arrivals in July from, for Carnival has become the most significant period of arrivals in St. Lucia. And I can tell you, I've spoken to most of the bands, at least the bigger ones, and they're telling me, Mr. Speaker, they sold out. You're talking about bands now with 2,000 revelers, Mr. Speaker. 2,000. And some of the private events and feds are already sold out, even before they've gone on sale. Sold out, Mr. Speaker. This is how St. Lucia is trending. And that's how our carnival is trending, Mr. Speaker. So, you see, every day they criticize me and they say the nastiest things about me. I don't even bother with them. I'm already thinking of jazz next year. That's what I wake up thinking about, Jazz next year and carnival next year. That's what makes me tick. That's what makes me tick, Mr. Speaker. I'm already thinking of how those things, I close my eyes and I visualize it, Mr. Speaker. I don't visualize of putting a prison under Bridge Street with a tunnel to get two prisoners. Can you imagine that was said in the House today? That he thinks we should build a prison underground. Instead, I mean, this is absurdity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have to say quickly, the national, the efforts to restructure GIS, Mr. Speaker, and let me just move on to a couple of other agencies, to restructure GIS and make sure GIS becomes more relevant and can serve the needs of the public service. GIS has one of the largest databases in St. Lucia. The history of St. Lucia, the recordings, we really have to find a way to resolve some of the challenges that are faced by GIS. And maybe I myself have to find a way to give more time and attention to GIS to make sure, some of their plans are fulfilled. But importantly for us, Mr. Speaker, was that Radio St. Lucia was closed by the member from Miku South. Was closed. You remember that? And now, Mr. Speaker, we're bringing it back, not as Radio St. Lucia, but as St. Lucia FM. And over the next few weeks, it's already available online, but we will be able to have live broadcasts, Mr. Speaker, of St. Lucia FM and to make sure it once again becomes the nation station. It will never be the same. Never be the same. There are too many stations now and the consumer has so many more choices. But at least, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to have a national radio station. Mr. Speaker, I must speak about cultural preservation in this country, the work done by Folk Research Center, Mr. Speaker. Important, critical work, Mr. Speaker. We're thinking about Jeune Creole, how we're going to grow it, transform it, Mr. Speaker. Maybe not this year, but from next year. The work done by the CDF, Mr. Speaker. The tremendous amount of work, Mr. Speaker. We have to recognize the work that is being done, Mr. Speaker. Emancipation, Mr. Speaker. We did a 3-year program on emancipation. It came to an end last year, so very soon we'll be announcing the next 3-year program. Of course, emancipation has become a major celebration in St. Lucia, and I ask all of you to look forward to emancipation celebration from this year, Mr. Speaker. The La Rose, the La Marguerite, Mr. Speaker, the effort that we put in ensuring that the flower festivals, continue to grow and to really, Mr. Speaker, show off the pride and joy of who it is to be a St. Lucian, Mr. Speaker. I'm hoping, Mr. Speaker, we can spend some time, Mr. Speaker, on the music. We really have to put more effort into the Dennery segment, Mr. Speaker. And of course, solo music, Mr. Speaker, real, authentic, immersive St. Lucian experiences like solo, Mr. Speaker. We will be able to, Mr. Speaker, to promote it, the quadrille, dancing, ballet, Mr. Speaker. There's so much more work that we can do, Mr. Speaker, and I'm looking forward to all of that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me end, as I know that time is nigh, Mr. Speaker. I have to say a few words about CIP. I must. The matter is before the court, so I'm kind of limited in what I can say. So how much more time do you have, Mr. Speaker? 8.5 minutes. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll just take it. So, Mr. Speaker, a lot has been said by the leader of the opposition about CIP and whatnot. And like I said, you know, it's kind of limiting what I can say, Mr. Speaker. But I want to take you back, Mr. Speaker, to the CIP, what it was and where we are right now. On another occasion, I will answer a lot of the accusations made. No, don't leave now. You have to stay there. Where you living? But so, Mr. Speaker, you know what I was about to say. You know what I was about to say. History. You walk out. You should have stayed. You know, you should have stayed. You know what I was about to say, Mr. Speaker. But you know what? He'll go on team. But you know, Mr. Speaker, we'll be coming back into this house in June with the annual report, with the operations report, and changes to the legislation, Mr. Speaker. And this time I will get a chance to say all the things I want to say, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition goes all over accusing people, Mr. Speaker. And you really have to ask, why are you trying to destroy the reputation of the country, Mr. Speaker? And he's deliberate and he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's out there publicly making statements he knows that will be read by the international community and that it will destroy the reputation of St. Lucia. He speaks about correspondent banks and people involved in all kinds of illegalities, Mr. Speaker, knowing that when certain players read about those things, it will put an eye on St. Lucia. It will watch the banks in St. Lucia. The member from Mico South was so nasty and vindictive. He publicly announced the names of lawyers in St. Lucia. Why? Because he wanted to hurt them because they did not come out in support of him. And he knows when he mentions their name, they will be put on the radar because he's out there saying that they are doing wrong, Mr. Speaker. That's the nature of the person. That's the character we're talking about. So he's going to desecrate professionals who are just doing their jobs as lawyers, Mr. Speaker. He wants to destroy St. Lucia. He wants to destroy our banking sector, Mr. Speaker, because he wants St. Lucia to fail. Because in his mind, if St. Lucia fails, it opens a doorway for him to get back into power. Why would you want correspondent banking arrangements for St. Lucia to be threatened? Why? Is it a lust for power, Mr. Speaker? Why would you want St. Lucians to be watched, Mr. Speaker, because you are claiming they are doing things that are wrong and they're not doing anything that's wrong, Mr. Speaker? Why would you do it? Why would you join with Martinez, Mr. Speaker? Why would you do such a thing when we said to you we had no business with him? He was not part of St. Lucia, but you made the entire industry and all over the world believe that something was so wrong with St. Lucia and what we were doing, and you had so much evidence. You and Guy Joseph went up to the Washington and said you all saw the evidence and you'll bring it back. And then that failed. That failed. All the bombshells failed, Mr. Speaker. All of that failed.
5 minutes left, member. 5 minutes left.
And then, Mr. Speaker, you decide now to file an injunction against the program, to stop the program. No, to stop it, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Speaker, with a standing order number 32, we invoke to give the honourable member 15 moments. 15.
Honourable members, the question is that standing order 32.8 be suspended and invoke 32.10 to give the member an additional 15 minutes in which to complete his presentation. We now put a question. All in favour? Aye. All who are opposed? I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Yeah. And, Mr. Speaker, questions were raised. I delivered an address, Mr. Speaker, answering the questions. I was invited by the Chamber of Commerce, and I went through detail by detail how the program was structured, how he changed it. He introduced commissions in St. Lucia. He introduced it in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, and explained all the due diligence and made sure everything was explained. I came to the House, I made a statement, Mr. Speaker. He could have gotten all the answers that he wanted. On the matter of the MOA, Mr. Speaker, St. Lucia did not sign it immediately because we had contracts in place, Mr. Speaker, and we said either they are grandfathered or if we are to sign them, it would put us in a ticklish situation where we now have to go and renegotiate those contracts. We said so in July last year. Eventually, we signed the agreement and we started discussions on the contracts, Mr. Speaker. We said so. It's public knowledge. But you will file an injunction against us, knowing all those things, Mr. Speaker. And because you want the whole world to know that you file an injunction against the CIP program and, of course, slander in it and slander in St. Lucia. And to say now that it is crashing and it's in crisis. You are creating the semblance of a crisis. You're describing it as a crisis. You're telling the world that there is a crisis, and then you say to us, oh, now y'all have a crisis on hand. You know, seriously, why? What do you dislike about St. Lucia and the progress that we are making? Why would you do this? First you tried it with Martinez. And like I said, all the speeches are there, all the explanations are there. But why would you file another case, Mr. Speaker? Why? Mr. Speaker, from July, and you could go and read my speeches, we made it very clear that we were going to renegotiate those agreements. We said why we had not signed the MOA in the first place, Mr. Speaker. And it's very clear. Very clear. We are convinced now that we need to make some changes, strengthen the program, make it more relevant, make sure it is more resilient, Mr. Speaker, and we will do so. And like I said, the case is before the court, so there's very limited, I'm very limited in what I can say, Mr. Speaker. And the other aspect of it that really hurts, Mr. Speaker, and he said it again today about visa-free access, you know, and how our visa-free access will be suspended. And how we've lost it already. Let me just explain briefly to honorable members. The European Union is concerned about visa-free access in the European Union. It's concerned about it. And they're not concerned about it because of CIP. There are a number of threats to their regime, and they believe that they need to strengthen their mechanism. They believe they have to strengthen it. They believe they are seeing too many persons that are applying to become asylum seekers within the European Union. And they've now come in to strengthen the mechanism. And I can share with you, Mr. Speaker, the entire proposal that's before the European Union and the whole description of what's happening. It has nothing to do with St. Lucia. It has nothing to do, Mr. Speaker, with any CIP not being run properly. There are genuine concerns in Europe about the abuse of the visa-free regime. And truth be told, in their view, that CIP can pose a threat because persons now have those passports they obtained through CIP who may in the future want to abuse the system. So they're creating a mechanism where if that should happen, they can take action. But you want everybody to believe that we're going to use our visa-free access to Europe. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to destroy our country? But I am convinced, Mr. Speaker, that is a simple case of the honorable member cannot accept the progress that this country is making at this time, and that he has to stop it. He has to fight against it, Mr. Speaker. But I am confident, Mr. Speaker, that he will not get his way, that we will succeed, Mr. Speaker. And I'm confident that the people of St. Lucia will not allow him to succeed, Mr. Speaker. And with a budget like what was presented, Mr. Speaker, I am more convinced that the people of St. Lucia recognize which political party cares about them, Mr. Speaker. They can see, Mr. Speaker, from our delivery record that we are the ones putting people first. We are the ones delivering, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I have no fear about the future, none. I think the leader of the opposition and his political party will be exposed for exactly what they are. So, Mr. Speaker, I want, before I end, to just say to my constituents, you know, Mr. Speaker, we will see and we will talk and we will, you know, take care of our business. There's a lot happening in the constituency, a lot. To be honest, if I have to start saying all the things I'm doing, Mr. Speaker, I'll need another hour. So I probably wouldn't want to say too much. But we're going to start next week, Wednesday. Tuesday, we're going to have the opening of the lay-by Adamon. A couple of weeks later, Mr. Speaker, we'll open the Bassett Joseph Community Center, Mr. Speaker, a project that started under Dr. Kenya Anthony, Robert Lewis as the rep, and for 6 years the project was stopped. One of the first decisions taken by the Labour Party when it came in 2021 was to continue the project, and we'll have a big opening at the end of May. We'll celebrate, Mr. Speaker. And very soon after, Mr. Speaker, we will open the Cicero playing field. We now have lights, Mr. Speaker. We have changing room. We have seating. We even have an outdoor gym, Mr. Speaker. And as soon as we open, Mr. Speaker, I will start a community coaching program for all young people every Saturday on the Cicero playing field, Mr. Speaker. And when I get my nets from the Minister of Sports, Mr. Speaker, we will reintroduce cricket in Cicero as well, Mr. Speaker. And of course, you know, I can talk about the health center, Mr. Speaker, the community center for Cicero. Can you imagine Cicero is one of the biggest communities in St. Lucia, and there is no community center, that's just totally unacceptable, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, roads, Mr. Speaker, I heard everybody, all representatives were speaking of roads, View Fort having roads, View Fort North having roads, you know, La Puerta have roads, and Dennery has roads. Every weekend, Dennery North is opening a new road, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope, Mr. Speaker, I'll get my fair share of roads, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm really excited about the future of Castries South and Cicero and Fuasho. We started a court. Again, the court in Cicero, Dr. Kenya Anthony acquired, with his Prime Minister, acquired the lands in Fuasho under Robert Lewis to start that court. It did not get started. We lost the government, and for 6 years, nothing was done. The court is being built now in Fuasho, Mr. Speaker. And ever since I was a young boy, we dreamt of having a court in Fuasho, Mr. Speaker. And any crownlands we get in Fuasho, Mr. Speaker, you know, we'll make sure we use it to develop, you know, the area for the people, Mr. Speaker. There's a lot that we are working on. I'm looking forward to the underwater sculpture park in Asfed, Mr. Speaker, down in the bottom there, Mr. Speaker. So let me say to all the constituents that there's a lot of talk, you know, about who is going to run against me, whatnot. But we have a record of delivery. We have a record of delivery, Mr. Speaker. And in time, all will be resolved, Mr. Speaker. So let me end, Mr. Speaker, by thanking all my colleagues for the tremendous support that you all give to me as Minister of Tourism for investment culture, Mr. Speaker. I know the Jazz Festival is about to start, Mr. Speaker, and I trust all of you will be happy and your constituents will be able, Mr. Speaker, to come and enjoy the Jazz Festival. And when that ends, we'll go into Carnival, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I'm really, really happy with the support given by the Prime Minister to the work that we do in the ministry. He understands tourism. He's always imparting knowledge about how we should deal with matters, Mr. Speaker, and I'm grateful for this, Mr. Speaker. Again, let me repeat my appreciation to the staff of the ministry and the various agencies, Mr. Speaker. So thank you so very much, and let me end, Mr. Speaker, by once again expressing my support for the appropriation bills. Thank you very much.